Hello, everybody. Welcome to a review, something that I haven't done in a very long time. I'm going to be reviewing the December 20th, 2020 show. At the beginning of the year, I made kind of like a promise to review every single show that came out this year. And then the Corona stuff happened. And then I kind of weird spiral. I wasn't really feeling it. And then I kind of stopped. But since people do ask about my reviews, I decided, you know what, maybe I won't do every show, but I'll try to do every big show, and then if there's any other show that just really captures me and I want to review it, then I'll review it. But hopefully you guys like this video. I do have my fan going. I don't know how much that is going to get picked up. I'm going to try to clean the audio like I always do, but who knows. So in this show, it was huge. Okay. It was an absolute huge show, so much on the line. I believe 5 different belts: the future belt, the high speed belt, the let's see here, the SWA belt and the white belt, but that was in the same match, and then the red belt. So 5 different belts in 4 different matches. A blood feud match to determine the standing and the outcome of the Cosmic Angels versus Stars. Something's going on outside, sorry. And then 2 throwaway matches with Oedotai. Unfortunately, they don't have anything going on right now, which is really unfortunate because I'm actually one of the few who really likes Oedotai, and I wish they had something going for them right now, but they seem to be kind of taking the place of transition champions as of right now. So let's get right into the first match so that, this isn't like a 20-30 minute video. First match is Saya Iida versus Mika versus Saya Kamitani for the future belt of Stardom, with Mika being the current champion. Mika has had a somewhat okay run with it. Nothing in comparison to Utami's and Starlight Kid's, unfortunately, but that is mostly, I'm assuming, the coronavirus's fault, with half the year being completely shut down and having no shows. We don't know what they could have done with her. I just love the fact that the belt is now off of a high mid-carder. The belt should never be on a mid-carder or a high mid-carder, low mid-card at best. And I think they really royally screwed up putting it on Utami, and then they screwed up even more putting it back on Mika after Utami relinquished it, because they started their careers mid-card, high mid-card, and the belt isn't meant for people like that, in my opinion. Obviously, I'm wrong because they're the promotion. They make the rules, and if that's the kind of people they want holding the belt, then so be it. The match was really awesome in the beginning. Both Sayas decided to team up on Mika, since both of them have kind of had their grievances with her ever since she won the future belt. And they've kind of felt like a lot of the roster, that they're an insider coming in and, taking their spot. All in kayfabe, of course. I'm not saying any of the wrestlers hold actual hatred or heat towards any other wrestler. Saya Kamitani kind of went berserk in the beginning, using super stiff moves. It was very interesting to see, because we don't get to see Saya Kamitani like this very often. She shows glimpses of it, but she kind of went all out in the first part of this show. Most of her forearms being pretty solid and pretty connecting, and you'll definitely be seeing that over here. Something I would like to point out is that Saya Iida finally got to pull off her sunset flip powerbomb off of the top rope, something that she has teased many times. I mean, look at this, it's just absolutely brutal. It's nice to see, because she goes on to win the match with a brainbuster, which is apparently either the finisher or a signature of the person that she looks up to in New Japan. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I believe his name is like Ishii something. He's he looks like a dog, and he has like no neck. It's really interesting. But he's a really interesting wrestler, and so is Saya. And Saya kind of wants to be like him, so it makes sense. The only thing I have a problem with this is I'm actually really happy that Saya won the belt. I'm like super stoked about it. But the problem is that she didn't pin Mika, which to a lot of people isn't going to matter, but to me it does kind of matter, because I'm really getting tired of wrestlers being protected from losing their belt. They did it with the future belt. They did it with the high speed belt like 2 or 3 times in a row. I just don't want that anymore. I want champions to actually lose when they're losing the belt. I understand it's to make the champion protected so that they can move on. But in my opinion, it really cheapens the next person's run because they didn't actually beat the champion. They just luckily beat someone else who was challenging for it, who also couldn't beat the champion. Saya gives a really heartfelt speech. You'll see it running over here. It was really touching. I love it because it kind of echoes a lot of thoughts that some people are having about the promotion right now, and the fact that there's a common trend to all of the people who are getting Bushiroad and Stardom's push right now. And that trend is that they would all fit and be comfortable on the front page of a fashion magazine. And Saya does not fit that type of trope of woman. She is very short. She's very muscly. And I guess to Japanese standards, she's not as attractive as some of the other girls. So she kind of says that, like, it doesn't matter what you look like. As long as you put in the hard work, you can succeed your dreams. And I really, really love that message. I think it's really great, especially coming from Saya, since she has so many disadvantages in Stardom, being the shortest wrestler at 4'9". Is it 4? Yeah, 4'9". And then not being conventionally attractive in terms of the societal standards of Japan. It's really, really nice to see someone like that succeed in Stardom and to get to air their grievances like that. And I wholeheartedly agree and love that. And I'm looking forward to an awesome, awesome championship run by Saya. So moving on to the weakest match of the entire show. It is a complete throwaway match. Oedotai versus just two people. Riho and Ruka versus Natsuko Tora and Konami. They just didn't have anything for these guys. It's unfortunate, but with the three sisters, the Hannon sisters as I refer to them, are all gone. There's really nothing for Ruka to do because there's no one on her level anymore. The closest person is a mid-carder, so unfortunately she's got to have a place on the card, which means Konami and Natsuko, since they're no storylines, have to be in here. It's not a very good show or a very good match. I mean, it's good, but in comparison to the rest of the show, it's definitely the worst. It did not bring it down. Ruka actually surprised me quite a bit. I think she did really, really good for her skill level and what she's been showing. And Konami won with a Triangle Lancer on Ruka. Now, moving on to the next match, we have Oedotai versus DDM with B. Priestley and Saki Kashima versus Himika and Natsupoi. Now, this match I wasn't really expecting too much out of because I kind of just saw both of the Oedotai matches as throwaway matches, but they actually really surprised me. It was really, really good. They were all really stiff. They were all gung-ho. They were putting their 100% into it. B. Priestley's new gear looks freaking awesome. I think it really fits her. It looks way better than her last gear. And I do want to highlight right here Saki Kashima's head scissors takedown. Because she's not attempting a pin afterwards, it is not a Hurricane Rana, from what I've been told a long time ago, and I still make the mistake, so I don't really care if other people do. But apparently it's just a head scissors takedown, and it is a thing of beauty the way that she just jumps up there, trusts herself, and swings them. She doesn't put her hands down. She doesn't even let go early. She holds on the whole time. It's phenomenal. It's the best head scissors takedown in the entire company. No one else even comes close. I'm really glad to see Natsupoi back. She really got to show her, her abilities here, her skills. She's been gone for quite a while working on a play that she had been, I guess, a part of or had prior commitments to before this even happened. No hate from me, I mean, do what you want to do, and she's really good. She's so freaking good. I'm so glad that she's in there because the better variety of wrestlers that Stardom has, the more interesting matchups that we can see. The only reason why I wouldn't want her there is because I think we all know that they're going to take the high-speed belt off of Azumi and put it on Natsupoi. And there's only so long before they have to have Natsupoi challenge for the high-speed belt because she's going to run out of people to challenge for it. And I just feel like that's going to happen sooner than what I want Azumi's reign to be, the end. So the match ended with Himika pinning Saki Kashima with a running powerbomb. It looked as brutal as always. I I've noticed a lot of people have a kind of a problem with that move in that because there's so much more forward momentum because of the running part of the powerbomb, that when they're falling, as you can see here, I'll be showing it in slow motion, there's too much forward momentum and the inertia and things makes it hard for them to keep their head back and not slam their head. I believe that is what happened to Julia when Julia had to take off a couple of days matches. And, I mean, it's not confirmed or anything, but who knows? It makes sense, physics-wise and stuff. Himika and Natsupoi seem to have a really good team dynamic, and I think they're really cool. Giant, I actually don't even know how small Natsupoi is, and I think she might be around 5 something. So I guess she's really not that short, but short and giant, and Himika carries Natsupoi like she's just a child. It's really awesome. It's really cool. Moving on to one of the matches that I was the most looking forward to, Azumi versus Mei Hoshizuki for the high-speed title. I was really looking forward to this because of a couple of things. One, I wanted to know whether the 10-minute time limit rule was just something that Hazuki was implementing, or if that was actually the rule of the high-speed belt. And up until this point, I mean, Riho only defended it like once or twice or something like that, and then the people before that weren't really speed wrestlers, so other than Hazuki. And so I was really looking forward to seeing if Azumi was going to keep the 10-minute time limit, and the fact that the match went over 10 minutes proves that no, we can get as long of a high-speed match as we can get. And since they gave the high-speed title a 30-minute time limit here, I'm assuming that is going to be what their limit is going to be for the rest of her run. Mei is super incredibly fast, very, very quick raw power. Unfortunately, she is still kind of newish, so she doesn't really do a lot of technical stuff. And I've said this before when they last met, and that Mei is faster than Azumi. But Azumi does a lot more technical moves like this, and like this, and like this, that you can't really do all that raw power into because it requires some finesse and some caution. Or else you'll hurt yourself, you'll hurt your opponent, and blah, 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 blah. Mei right now's most intense move is a drop kick, essentially. So, and that's not me throwing any shade. I think Mei did freaking amazing, and I love this match. I thought it was amazing. It was, on Twitter after the show, I said there were 4 amazing matches, 2 great matches, and a good match. And this was one of the 4 amazing matches. The second Oedotai versus DDM match was a great match. The Ruka and Riho versus Oedotai was the good match. And then the first match was also another great match. The rest of the matches I'm talking about are all amazing, in my opinion. In this match, the contrast between Mei and Azumi was really, really there. You could tell that Azumi was kind of this grizzled veteran. She was a champion, whereas Mei was kind of this really fresh upstart who really wanted to prove herself, And I love that about Joshi rookies. They have so much spunk, so much vigor, that you get excited just watching them try. It's awesome. I would really like to see them to face each other or team up with each other, whether it be friend or foe. I want them to be in the same ring for now on. It'd be so awesome. I would love a working relationship between Marvelous and Stardom, and I would love for this team or these two to be the connection, whether it just be a long rivalry or a partnership of some kind, or a frenemy type deal where they really want to fight each other, but they respect and like each other, kind of like Momo and Shuri. Azumi wins with a reverse up roll up. They just kind of had this like long rolling thing where they were continuously pinning each other as they were rolling around the ring, and Azumi got the 1-up and won. I freaking love that finish. I thought it was awesome. It was a high speed finish. Super great. So, moving on to the next match. I'm already at about 15 minutes. Oh, geez. Hopefully my lights last here. I've got my lights back on commission. I'm trying to get this green screen to work well. Hopefully this time it works good. This match, the Artists of Stardom Championship match, that I did not think was going to be an Artist Belts match, because when they announced the match, it was before Cosmic Angels actually got the titles. But since they had gotten the titles, they changed this to an Artist match, which I felt like it was unneeded, but who knows? Who cares? I was on my seat. on the edge of my seat the entire time. It was insane how pumped I was for this match. Unfortunately, going into it, I already knew the outcome, but I didn't know how they got there. And because it was an elimination match, it could have went any way. After seeing, for those of you who don't know, Tam and Unagi got taken out pretty, not early on because it was the majority of the match and then they got taken out, but they got taken out with no casualties to the other side. So by the end of this show, or this match, it was just Mina versus Mayu, Iwatani, Starlight Kid, and Gokikin Death. Not really in the best hopes of them winning. Cosmic Angels, that is. I went into this cheering for them. I'm completely on Tam's side. I support her and Cosmic Angels 100%. Not because I don't like Mayu and I don't like Stars or anything like that. I just really want to see Tam shine, and I think this is her way. And if this is how it's going to be, this is how it's going to be. Mayu in this was phenomenal. This is the best I've ever seen her in a storyline since Io betrayed her. Legit. Her weakness has always kind of been the promo, the storyline element, in my opinion. And this, she is killing it, probably because there's some real feelings here. She seemed really hurt. It was clear as day on her face. It made me feel sad. So the match started off with Tam and Mayu going really stiff, brutal attacks. Remember, this is a blood feud. Starlight Kid having the same blood feud with Tam, because in all honesty, the three really feuding here is Tam versus Mayu and Starlight. Starlight seems to have taken this super personal. Mayu is just kind of in this day's shock kind of thing where it's hurting, but she doesn't know what to do. And Tam is just as conflicted. She wants to be strong for her team, but she hates that she's hurting Mayu. And I really like how this is building up Starlight Kid as more of a threat. It's moving her up from the low mid card that she's kind of been at to maybe a high mid card. They're really allowing her to take point in this storyline for Stars, and I think that is a phenomenal idea because she's killing it. She's really good on the mic. She's really good with the facial expressions, which is funny because her face is covered, but you can see it in the eyes and the mouth. She's killing it, trust me. The first out was Unagi Sayaka getting pinned by Gokikin Death with the Okana roll. The Okana roll, that thing is unstoppable. I freaking love it. Starlight Kid is able to get a surprise on Tam Nakano after a few moments later. As you can see here, Starlight Kid learning from Mayu and stealing the Tiger Suplex. Now, before everyone gets all in a hubbub here, she clarified later on Twitter that she didn't use the Tiger Suplex as a reveal of a new move. She used it specifically for Tam because she wants to hurt Tam, because she thinks Tam is being unreasonable. Starlight Kid pinned Tam clean in the middle of the ring, and I'm not mad about it. I gotta be honest, not mad. When I saw that happen, I was like, wow, she got one on her. That's crazy. Leaving Mina Shirakawa to be the only one in the ring. Honestly, if I didn't already know what the outcome was going into it, I would have lost all hope at that point. Because I could not see Mina beating Mayu, Starlight, and Death back to back to back like that. Especially since up until this point, Mayu and Starlight have been pretty much in the ring together the entire time, double teaming people, and because they're ticked. I get it. Some people could say that they're not being very face-like, they're not being very Stars-like, but they're hurt, and when you're hurt, you don't act rationally sometimes. And I love how she went on and did it. Mina did. She went on and won, and it was completely realistic. Now, how would she eliminate them realistically? Over the top rope. So, she eliminates Mayu first by kind of pushing her off the top rope as Mayu's on the top rope. Brilliant. Mayu is the top dog, so now she has the same exact disease that Io had, and that if you can be eliminated over the top rope, you were going to be eliminated over the top rope. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Then the next person to get eliminated would be Starlight Kid, and this is probably the most realistic over-the-top rope thrown by women in wrestling I've ever seen. For those of you who watch wrestling, whether it just be WWE, AEW, just Joshi, just Puroresu, you should know that over-the-top rope, sometimes it doesn't work very well, even with the men. And The women have an even harder time because their average height is much shorter, but the rope size is the same for men and women. So it's easier for like a 6'1" person to, kind of realistically fall over the rope. But when it's a 5'1" person, it's a much different story. And it's funny that the one person I've ever seen it be the most realistic for women is someone who's actually 4'11", Starlight Kid. Starlight Kid's running right here. You can see part of it. Starlight Kid's running at Mina in the ropes, and Mina kind of like pops her up, but then like Starlight Kid doesn't go all over, and she kind of like lands on the ropes for a little bit, and then Mina kind of pushes her up more again, and then she falls over. It was brilliantly done. Mina then eventually gets her off with kicks and whatnot. It's beautifully done. It was so realistic, so believable. I was on the edge of my seat. I could not believe it. And then it's all up to Mina and Gokigen Death, with Mina winning after hitting Gokigen Death with a GSS. And I can't remember what that stands for right now, but I'm pretty sure the G stands for Glamour, and I don't remember what the rest stands for. I'm sorry. Hopefully I will look that up and put that on the screen somewhere, and you guys will know, but present me will not. This is the most hyped match of the entire show for a lot of people. It was what I was saying up until this point was that not every feud needs a belt. Unfortunately, they put a belt on there, but not every feud needs a belt, and this was proof of it. Everyone was captivated by this, whether you were on Star's side, whether you were on Cosmic Angel's side, whether you just weren't on either side and you just wanted to see it play out. I'm pretty sure everyone was invested in this story, and that is because Tam is amazing. During the end show, Tam Nakano looked very, very conflicted during the end. If you see here, her face, to me, obviously facial expressions can be interpreted differently, but to me, her face kind of looks like someone who is battling something on the inside. And to me, I like to believe what she's battling is her love for Mayu, her love for Stars, but her wanting to go out and her obligation to her new team, these people that she brought in. She needs to be strong for them. She can't buckle. And it's hurting because she does love Mayu still. Stars gets another title shot just with Gokigen Death replaced with Saya Ida, because they said they had beaten Cosmic Angels with the team up of Mayu, Starlight, and Saya before, so they deserve a title shot. I don't know if I'm super excited about that. Like, I am, but at the same time, I'm really not, because I feel like that was a really good ending for them. Cosmic Angels split off, and now it's just kind of this rivalry between the two factions. But with it being practically the same people with just one person replaced, it's kind of getting that whole Tam and Julia vibe where they kind of faced each other like 2 or 3 times in a row, essentially, during the white belt part. Yeah, so I'm not going to talk too much more about this, even though I probably talked a crap ton about it, because I do plan on making a video on this match, just like I did on the Arisa versus Tam feud. Or not on this match. I plan on making a video on the Cosmic Angels versus Stars. It's such a good story. Anyway, moving on to the semi-main event, which is a double title match. Shitty's SWA belt versus Julia's Wonder of Stardom belt. Now, let's be honest. Every single person going into this knew it was going to be a time limit draw. No one really suspected that either one of these girls was going to lose their belts. And that was fine with me. I did not care. It didn't really take the enjoyment out of the match knowing the ending for me. Just because a match is predictable doesn't mean it's bad. So, Shitty was out here looking like she wanted blood. Look at these eyes. Seriously, look at them. She's going to kill you. And then, which is funny because then now look at Julia's eyes. Julia looks like she's out there questioning every decision she's ever made in her life that led her to this moment. And that is one of the things I love about Julia and her white belt run, is that she really makes you believe that she wants that belt. Losing that belt would be the end of the world for her. She is deathly afraid of losing it, and it shows. During the match, Julia does do a tribute to Hana Kimura, hitting Shitty with a Tiger Lily, the package pile driver. I'm just assuming it's a tribute to Hana, since no one else in the promotion had done that move before. Hana started doing it, and because in the pre-match package that they played, which are a really great addition, by the way, I love them. They showed the moment when Julia pointed up to the sky after Hana's passing, and it seemed like an odd moment to add to this, but it makes sense because she was planning on tributing Hana in the match. Julia's character is the epitome of fake it till you make it. She wants to be this cool, badass leader, but she's a dork. And you can see that throughout the match with Julia's face expressions, that she sometimes feels like she's in over her head. Kayfabe, of course. I bet the woman, Julia, whatever her name is, I believe, probably really strong. Probably not like the character Julia in many ways, but I feel like there's probably some bleeding here and there, weaving of fabrics and whatnot. The match ends up going on to be a 30-minute draw, and the best thing I could say about it is it did not feel like a 30-minute draw. Seriously, this match was amazing. Like, super amazing. So good. At the end, Julia and Shitty, I just combined their name, Judy. Julia and Shitty were crying at the end, and their faces literally tears falling. Shitty seemed to be more of an ugly crier, where Julia was more of a Hollywood pretty crier. And before anybody jumps in my throat about that, I'm not calling either one of them ugly or pretty. It's a type of crying. Get over yourself. And it was just really, really nice. And that kind of brings me to one of the points that I regularly make, is that I think the whole face and heel dynamic is completely outdated and needs to be phased out of wrestling. It really limits storytelling, in my opinion. Stories can be more nuanced than just good guy, bad guy, I mean, look at the Cosmic Angels vs. Stars. Neither one of them are really in the right. Neither one of them are really in the wrong. Neither one of them are good. Neither one of them are bad. The good guys are the ones that are taking cheap shots, teaming up on people, getting super emotional. The bad guys, Cosmic Angels, are the ones that are fighting legit, and they're the underdogs, kind of. It's amazing, and this is a story that I love right here. Julia versus Shitty is that two people who respect and love each other, that use that love and respect to not go easy on each other. It is an insult to go easy on someone you respect. And that's what this match was. It was two people, two friends, killing each other. And it was lovely. Moving on to the final match, the World of Stardom title match. Utami Hayashishita, who is the champion, versus Momo Watanabe, who is the challenger. And first line of notes here is outstanding match, bummer ending. I knew the ending going to this. I think everyone knew. Even before they even found out the results, there was no way that they were going to neuter Utami like that. They were not going to have her lose the red belt in her first ever reign with 0 defenses so shortly after winning it. It was just impossible. It was not going to happen. I don't care who was challenging her for it. It just wasn't going to happen. And it sucks. As a Momo fan, it really sucks. I'm sure Utami fans are living it up, like the Utami fans Twitter page. I see you, man. You're in paradise right now. I see you. But it's, as a Momo fan and the disappointments we've had as Momo fans over the last 2 years, this match, the ending is a real bummer. So with that out of the way, the match itself was phenomenal. It was super stiff. It was super brutal. And Momo killed it in this match. We got Murder Momo back, finally. I know it's just going to be for this match, and probably the one that she's going to have against Nanae. But it was amazing seeing Momo like that again. She was she was stiff the entire time, but the most pinnacle or the pivotal moment of the match, I guess you could say, was when Utami kicked out of the Peach Sunrise. Look at Momo. She is ticked. And she just goes on a, like, honestly, if I didn't know Momo and I didn't know Utami and I didn't know the relationship, I honestly feel like some people could have assumed that Momo was working for herself. She was shooting, you know? It got really stiff. It got really emotional for her at that moment. And because I know it's Momo and she's a professional, she's went through way worse and not lost her cool. It was clearly, her working. And damn, was it good. Utami Hayashishita ended up winning with a spinning crucifix powerbomb. I don't know if she has a name for it yet. Unfortunately, with all of the cool video packages that they had and the cool info showing like the height and the weight of the wrestler and the birthday, which is awesome. Props. They did leave out the title card at the end of each match showing the move, the name of the move that won the match, and the time of the match, unfortunately. So I don't know if Utami has a special name for it yet. I'm hoping that she does, because it's clear that mumble mouth, and I'm a YouTuber, that is her ultimate now. God, I really hope they have plans for Momo. Alright, so that was the show. Amazing. 4 amazing matches, 2 great matches, and a good match. Put together makes probably the best show in the entire year, in my opinion. This was amazing. Every single match kicked it out of the park. Kicked it out of the park. My expressions are terrible sometimes. Ugh. So I highly recommend this entire show to everyone. Please go watch it. Please watch all of it. Bye.